You're late, Dormel. I already pulled the trigger. I just didn't want to pull the trigger until I was pretty sure it was my computer. And two, last time I tried to pull the trigger, Dell was dorks, and so the computer did not successfully get purchased. And that annoyed me and also sapped my energy. So I waited, and then everything seemed to be going well, and then we started having issues again. So essentially, that is how we got to where we are today. I ordered from Joy PCs, I think is their name. Which I found by hanging out on a professional Reddit for like startups and such. So essentially, people who normally do and buy this sort of thing, talking about where they buy things. So I'm happy. It has a 1-year warranty. It's a little bit smaller screen than my current computer, but it has like a terabyte hard drive, which would be nice for video storage. That's right, I hadn't decided what I was going to do with this clothy piece here. We'll figure it out. Maybe green. You know, it seems like it, unless you hang out on like Reddits that are actually like for various professions. I mean, I hang out on my self-publishing Reddit, and although there are plenty of noobs on there, I've also gotten lots of useful information from it. You always have to kind of double check and look around, but you know, because you could. Somebody who's speaking up could be blowing smoke out their butt, but in general. Alright, I need to shade down in this recess here. I missed it. So we'll see if that fixes the problem, or at least lets us go on stream for another, half an hour, 45 minutes without having incessant issues. Let us cross fingers and pray to the gods of computing. But at any rate, I hopefully... I actually like Reddit for information. I think it can be very useful, so... I've gotten very useful information from the 3D printing Reddit as well. There. Brought in that shadow so that I can go there. And let's see here. I think I'm going to use my corporeal shadow color on the flights of the arrows and also on the quiver, but I might keep it. I think on the quiver I'll make it leather, but on the flights I might just add white and bring up that blue color because I like it. And it's not going to clash with anything. Well, at least that wasn't on my end, Twisted Oma. Today's kind of an annoying day. Because I have so many errands and things to run. I don't get to concentrate on just one thing and make progress. Alrighty. I think I'm going to do the bow in that. Maybe I'll do the bow in that bluish wood. That would be kind of fun. Let's do that. Freehand is always like what people gravitate toward Twisted Oma. Even when the freehand in question is, not awesome, but decent. Like, you could do a great job on everything else, but people will just, like, get obsessed with your freehand, which kind of annoys me at times. Like, even though I do, use a lot of freehand. But it takes a lot of talent to do good textures, good, more subtle stuff, too. And people tend to miss subtlety. And I like subtle things, so that kind of annoys me sometimes. It's actually why I didn't do any freehand on the front of this model, because it's distracting enough back here. Yep, we're on the Archer, and we're having some computer blips today, but I just rebooted Richard, so we'll see how it goes. I was just mentioning to everybody that I was frustrated because I pretty much have to put all of this month into my Patreon, and I won't get a lot of writing done on the new book. But I have my cover. And David approved of it. And some of you saw it when it was still a work in progress. It's mostly... only small things changed from when I showed it last week. But essentially, we like to make the background animals look a little bit more illustration. So there was a little bit of work done on that. Yeah, I mean, I could have done something here on the cape, Pendrake, but I don't want to distract. Remember that freehand is distracting. Like, although it gets you oohs and ahs, it also has a downside. And the downside is that it pulls the eye toward it. And you can use that to your advantage, but you can also suffer from it if you forget about it. If you put it down low and you don't have enough oomph packed into your model higher up, you can unfortunately detract. I saved David from a base malfunction this weekend. I felt proud of myself. It's always amusing to me, like, what our strengths and weaknesses are. And sometimes on colors, he'll just ignore me. And that's fine. But he actually listened to me on composition this time. He's like, I think you made this a better base. I'm like, yes, thank you. I think I made it a better base, too. I think we're going to skip Adepticon this coming year. And maybe aim to go the following year. Alright, so we've got most of this blocked in. Yeah, it's the same with drawing. It's like... And freehand is not like... As David says, he's like, it's not like it's impossible. It just takes a lot of time to do it. And he hates the amount of time it takes. I deserve STLs as a reward. That's funny. But I did buy STLs this weekend. Not very... I like that you can get a really cool model for really cheap. Like, I bought something for Kiki. I bought a Cerberus bust. It's actually a really scary Cerberus bust. Like, undead demonic kind of Cerberus bust, but Kiki was almost named Cerberus, and we feel like she really does embody Cerberus most days. So I bought a Cerberus bust in honor of Kiki. And it was only $4.99. And it's going to be super fun to paint. But I have to get my other guys done first. That'll be fun. I'm into monsters. Like, I don't know what happened to me recently, but right now I am into monsters. Like, I didn't even look at humans on my mini factory. Like, I was not even interested. All I was looking at was monsters. And all the things that I bought were monsters. Yes, Keyleth Cerberus Diamondstone. That'll be her middle name, right? That's actually a pretty good name. So I like how going really dark with that base layer makes the armor look and feel darker. I do need to keep these areas lighter so I have some lighter points on the model. I'm actually going to use this lighter wood color here. It's my highlight color for the leather, but I can use it flat out. Hey, Undead Dragnail. Thank you. We are working, got our free hand on the back too. We work on a rotation of 6 models on this stream, so this is one of the 6, and I switch every day. And we make slow progress on everybody, and we flip in new models where we finish one. So we can always be working on something different and talking about a different subject pretty much. But right now I'm just blocking in the rest. A lot of this blue area, the dark blue, will turn into the leather, which we did a prototype over here. I do like painting werewolves because I can make them raw. But yeah, normally I don't reach for monsters, Zachariah, but I did order these 3 STLs. One of them was free. I was like, oh, this is way too nice of an STL to be free, but it was a free download. The person only has like 2 sculpts up on their My Mini Factory. They must have had life get in the way, which is a shame because the one sculpt they have up is really good. But it happens. I mean, I had life get in the way pretty heavily of my creative life for a while, so I get it. But yeah, the Cerberus was only $4.99, so it was a bargain, and it'll be fun to paint. But yeah, I don't know. I guess you go back and forth, right? It's like sometimes you feel like painting a human, sometimes you feel like painting a bust, sometimes you feel like painting 28mm, sometimes you feel like painting a monster. We all probably go through those phases. So I'm bringing up this leather from the blue, keeping the blue in the shadows so we have some nice cool shadows and it looks kind of neat. There's a little bit of designy filigree and stuff on these boot cuffs. Yeah, you can use dark brown, especially Emmanuel, if you are like doing a druid or a ranger or something that's natural. I would say that a dark brown is a great shadow for green, especially in that case. Or if you're going very natural feeling, like I use my brown liner a lot as shading. You can also, though, use some cool other colors. Purple makes a really good shadow for green, for example. You can use a dark blue. We used a dark blue here, actually. If you can see it, this goes down to it's actually a green that has a lot of blue in it, but it went down to that. So, but I've used purples a lot. I really like using purples to shade green, but dark brown works really well. A dark bluish green can work well. Dark blues work good. Even red. A really dark red used to shade green can look really good because it's a complementary color for green. So yeah, any of those colors are just fine. It is nearly Halloween. Yeah, I have to limit myself on Dead Dragnail. I find that I get overwhelmed, probably because I spent a lot of my life painting for a career. And so if I get too much, I just feel like way overwhelmed. So the most projects I can really work on and be happy, as far as like my own free time, is 3. So right now for my personal stream, we're working on this cute owlbear from Quantum Minis for their Adventure Cats line. So I was figuring out my color scheme for the blue and green on the feathers that I wanted to do this weekend and making the paws dark, which I want to do. So all the feathery stuff is going to go in that blue and green. Yeah, so this is what I've been working on my regular stream, guys. So if you have time on Saturdays at about 3:30 USA Central Time, PM, that's what I'm working on. And then I just started 2 minis that I'm just prepping. So I've got this one, my first ever 3D print. So I can't wait to get started on the Dragon Bust. And then I've got this one for Moonlight Minis that I was just doing the basing, blocking in some texture paste on the base. I have to do some sculpting on top of the texture paste to get some stones in there and tree roots. So tonight is green work night again. When I finish touching up that base on the Dragon Bust, and then I need to do this tree roots and the and a couple of stones on the elven berserker. Yeah, probably get darker. Do something like these are Reaper colors, but you can mix something like it. So really black browns, really, really dark. So they're still brown. They still have brown in them, and if you put them on a palette, you'd see it. But what they are actually, if you've got, I don't know, what brand of paint do you use, Emmanuel? Do you use Chimera at all? Or do you use Scale Color? If you want to mix a dark brown, you could use black and add just a little bit of red oxide if you use a paint line that has a red oxide. You could probably order the owlbear online, I would think, from Kana. I guess you have to pay shipping overseas then. You're right, Kerniko. That's probably less than. Oh, use paints from your country. Okay, well, red oxide, if there's a paint line that that people use for mixing a lot, red oxide is an artist color, like an artist tube paint. So you should be able to find something close. It is a very reddish brown color. And if you mix it with black, you should get a really nice dark brown. But I don't know where I stuffed my red oxide. Where did I put you, red oxide? Where did I put you? I threw it, oxide red. So it's it looks like an orangey red. It looks like rust, actually. So if you mix that with some black, you'll know if you have the right color pretty quick. Because if it's not actually like a red oxide, it will start looking greenish. But if it's red oxide, it'll make a beautiful dark brown. So, oh, only STLs. Got it, Quindy. Didn't realize that. I'm glad I got my owlbear then. But yeah, so you could mix it or just add some black to your existing brown if you want. But yeah, really dark colors. Really, really dark colors are best. All right, let us start doing some highlighting. So I've got these are my colors. I'm going to thin this one down a little bit so I can stipple. And I think I'm going to also do a mixture of kind of halfway between these. So I'm going to do a little bit of ruddy leather on that area there, and I'm going to take some of this and pop it in there. I want to make a slightly lighter version for my transition color. There we go. So then we're going from here to here to here. Yeah, mixing is good to do, Emmanuel, because then you don't have to pay as much money for different kinds of paint. If you learn to mix and you find good colors for mixing, you can mix everything you need. I made the Reaper paint lines, so I've spent many years mixing colors for Reaper miniatures. And now I can pretty much mix any color I want from about 20 base colors or so. And I can mix anything I want. So that keeps your paint needs very inexpensive. Yeah, they sold out of the owlbear pretty fast. Pretty much you want a reddish brown. I mean, I used ruddy leather plus a little bit of rich leather and white. So if you've got an ochre and a reddish brown, like a brown oxide, you can do it. It'll get close enough. But really it's reddish brown plus like a dark ochre. That's it. Yeah, really expensive. Okay, I haven't used acrylics. Yeah, that's probably we'd have to import them up here. Yeah, I bet they're really expensive to import. Well, when in doubt, just go by color and don't worry about pigment. And just remember that some pigments interact. So when you mix, if something goes green, even though you haven't added green to it, it's usually an interaction of yellow pigment and black pigment. And you can always counter that by adding in a complementary color. So if I'm mixing a brown with a yellow and I see it go green and I don't want green, I can add a little red and it'll make it go back to where I want it. And that's more like elaborate advice probably, but it might help you. So the vampire cat, yep. Yeah, no problem, Emmanuel. I do a lot of answering questions here, so if you ever have questions, feel free to come back. We are here every weekday morning, unless something odd is happening and I had to take the day off. But every weekday morning, we are here. I guess if you're in the center of the country, it is probably afternoon now, but for me, it's morning. I'm on the west coast of the USA. But we start at 11:30 a.m. Central Time. I'm going to use this highlight color to just start to bring up some areas here. But yeah, you're always welcome to come and ask questions. Since you're starting out, it's fine. I like answering questions on the stream. We paint things on this stream, but the real point is to answer questions. Alright, so using my highlight color to just bring up this leather here. And when I get up to my highlight, my highest highlight, then I'm going to do those little dots that I did down here to make a texture. So my base coat and my first highlight are actually just to kind of establish a highlight, and then when I get to my higher highlight, that's where I start introducing texture. I would not necessarily, if I was doing this on a very large model like a bust, I would not do that. I would actually start introducing texture with my first highlight, maybe even on my base. But with little models, usually I'll just start doing texture with the highlight. Yeah, I didn't even know about the vampire cat. So obviously I missed it too. That's fine though. More for other people. Yeah. I thought about buying the pirate box set from Kona. I was seriously on the ropes, but I remembered that it's too easy for me to get overwhelmed, so I went more. Oh, I got a Kiki hair in my paint. Darn it, Kiki! Why did you have to shed into my paint? That's what I get for having her introduce the stream. But there we go. But yeah, I tried to be more circumspect this year about buying stuff because I wanted to have enough cool, cute things that I would want to paint, but not so much that I got too overwhelmed and lost my love. It's really, it definitely is a dance lately to keep myself from out of the overwhelm. Because I've got so much going on. So much I'm trying to do. Apparently Kana minis, Thormel, but you could only get the STL because she doesn't sell prints online. But there's Kana. They do Adventure Cats, and apparently they do a Vampire Cat with their Adventure Cat series, but I missed it. But yeah, I hope Kana did good, and I hope they come back next year. because I enjoyed their sculpts. Just bringing in a little bit of light here. I just want to get some of these plates just a bit. And I'm leaving a shadow too, just because I want to keep some of that blue. Yeah, there we go. Shout out to Condominis. Wearing a cute little cloak, yep. Oh, I printed my first thing this weekend. My first thing, Thormel, I printed it. I printed my first thing, and it's a dragon bust. It's a crystal dragon bust. He's really cool. Yeah, I'm kind of like, now that the 3D printer is you know, I've cleaned and organized its area and it is usable. I'm happy that we have it, just because now I feel like I can print things without worrying about the quality. Sometimes ordering from Etsy, I got not as good quality depending on the seller, and so I stopped. But now I can print my own stuff, so that's cool. If I had a picture of the Cerberus, I would show you guys. I could try to find it, I suppose. Hi, Cerberus. Speaking of which, my own Cerberus is here. Hello, Cerberus. Your real name. And to think that when you were a tiny puppy, I said to David, I said, oh, she's not a Cerberus. She's not a Cerberus, but you know what? She is. She's totally a Cerberus, even with only one head. I'm just waiting for it. I think she's just not old enough to sprout more than one yet. And that's probably good for us, right? Right, sweet girl? Yeah, I've got you. Yeah, I've got you. Good girl. Yes, giant Cerberus. Yes. Oh, Doompaw. Doompaw with a giant Cerberus. Yeah, right. Exactly. If you're buying prints, you have to find a good shop for it. Anyway, Kiki down. Good girl. Keyless Cerberus Diamond Stone is your new name. I don't think the vet is going to look at me like great if I tell them to change your name. They're going to be like, That's why her ears always fall off. She's trying to grow heads. Is that true, Geeks? Is that true? You're a silly dog. No playing with my carpets, young lady. And do I have to exile you? I don't want to exile you. You need to go settle. It's work time. Thumpy dog. Work. Go settle. Yes, Kiki sighting week has begun well. She's like, oh, fine, Mom. Oh, fine. But yeah, you guys will just have to wait until I print out the Cerberus bust, then you can see it. It's adorable because even though it's mostly undead and skeletal, it has ears. They gave it ears. Just enough fur to have ears. And I'm like, yes! It's so cute. Okay, it's cute if you like ravening undead hell beasts. But I do, so. It's a cool Cerberus. Just doing some little bits of highlights just to bring out these little plates. Hey, Roger. Don't be bad, Keekers. Be a good girl. Go settle. Oh, did you bring a bone? Oh, you found your no-hide from last night. Okay. Yeah, you can bring that in here. Kiki has decided to come in and chew. Chew here. She's gracing us with her presence, meaning she'll chew very loudly. So I'm getting the breastplate. Now we're going to highlight. As soon as you bring up that leather, it starts looking really nice. I do think that bluish shadows for reddish leather work really well. So now that I have a 3D printer, the next time we do a thing on my Patreon for Paint Along, I'm going to try to, I think, do a 3D printed one. We did this one this time. This is also, I'm using a blue shadow on this leather as well. You can see this is my Paint Along, one of my Paint Alongs for my Patreon currently. So we're doing the same kind of thing, but on a bigger area and slightly different colors. But that way, the problem with doing a Paint Along on my Patreon is I've got people from all over the world. In some countries, it's really hard to get certain models. From like just some, like Dark Sword doesn't ship to like Europe, things like that. Group 3D printer. Yeah, that sounds good, Kerniko. You were going to be the designated printer. Actually, you know what? The printing itself isn't too bad, Kerniko. But yeah, but it sounds like that's the problem with your group, Kerniko, is everybody's like takes advantage of your goodwill. You need an enforcer who kind of just steps up and smacks people around when they are like, oh, we can get Kerniko to do this. Then we don't have to. Although, to be fair, if they're purchasing it and you get to use it, maybe that's enough. I don't know. I guess you have to decide what your boundaries are like, right? You don't have the space, and you're allergic to... Oh, right. You're allergic to everything. So the isopropyl and the resin, yeah, are probably right out. We wear masks. I'm glad that we put it in our garage. It's a really good spot for it. Because when we want events, we do have a big window in there, but we can also just open the garage door. Yeah. The PLA printer is just not going to do minis really well. Your awesome housemate is your enforcer. Good. I'm glad. Yeah, because sometimes people just need to get kicked to the curb. And admonished. Sometimes you have to look at them like I look at the Kiki when she is misbehaving and say, exiled! Exile them from your presence temporarily. To make your point. Alright, a little bit of highlighting here, bringing that up, getting the edges here. Yeah, apparently you still had to pay. No, these people! Like, seriously, Kerniko, seriously, these people. Like, it's a good thing I don't live over there. I'd be tempted to, like, step up and kick some butt on your behalf. And just to show you how, like, off the deep end I've gone lately, since I started my CrossFit class. Last night, I found myself on my walk, kind of idly wondering if there was a karate class around for people over 50. I took Tai Chi in college, and I always liked the martial arts. And I'm like, seriously, do I want to start doing a martial arts discipline when I'm 51? Do I? Seriously? Seriously, self? Seriously, brain? What? Oh. The current group isn't too bad, they just don't think. Okay, yeah, that feels like it. Yeah. Yeah, so you'd only be able to use it, like, in the summer, spring, fall if you put it in the garage, which would work, it just would take planning, right? Yeah, the problem is with the karate is just that it's, another time constraint, another time commitment. And I've already signed off 2 of my evenings completely to CrossFit, so I think it's going to be a while. It still makes me wonder if I Google martial arts classes for people over 50 near me, what I'll get. I bet they're out there. I especially bet they're out here. It's like the West Coast and California in general has been a martial arts like haven for a while, like since Bruce Lee was first out here. So I'm just curious. Just because my CrossFit gym has classes for people over 60. If you want a specialized class, that's all scaled to you. There we go. So we're getting all that kind of picked out. It's nice looking. I mean, yeah, Tai Chi, that's the problem with Tai Chi, is it's very low impact, and I want to be able to kick some butt. Let's just face it. I want to get ripped and kick some butt. That's my goal. I don't know if I'm going to get there. But I really like Tai Chi, Pendrake, but Tai Chi as a combat art is different, too. And most Tai Chi places don't necessarily teach it as a combat art. They teach it as a meditative, like they're more into the mindset of it, it's very valuable and cool. And I do love the motions. And it's good for balance and control and coordination, but it's not really what I'm looking for right now. 3D print a little house. That's true. You 3D printed a house for the spider. Yeah. Yeah, I think that, like, there are a lot of martial artists and high-level sports people, like my trainer, who were really, really into, who were very high level and did a lot when they were younger, but then realized how much value like this sort of thing can have to older people as well, to keep fit and keep mobile and flexible. And so now they're like, that's shifted because you can make a real impact on folks, on their quality of life and their lives as they age by teaching this stuff. And so I'm not surprised. I'm very happy that that such a thing exists for people. Just going to do some little stipples up here on the top of the arm. Kind of linear so far, but I'll spread them out. The boots. She's the old spider woman who lives in a boot. Slayer, that's funny. I've been very tempted. The problem is our garage is so tiny. If we had a regular size garage, I would totally set up a weights gym, because I have I have the set I want all picked out. But we have a tiny garage because they sacrificed half of our garage to create the master bedroom when they did the reno, which I'm not, against at all, because our master bedroom is gorgeous and I love it. But it means that I don't have as much room to go as crazy as I would like to in my garage. Oh, I know. I think I'm more drawn to like the Japanese and Chinese martial arts Dogfather, because I do like the focus on your mindset as well. Like I like a combo. It's just that Tai Chi is a little bit too much mindset for me right now. I want something a little more active. I'll just have to look at what's out there. That and my fitness level still isn't terribly high. Like, when I can hit the benchmarks for to exceed beginner level at CrossFit, then I think it might be time to look. But right now I'm still working toward what's considered beginner level for women in CrossFit. Yeah, it is funny. Yeah, she's definitely got, like, her issues. She's an older model, for sure, Crowley. She does have some fun things to work on. I mean, her cape is really cool. Some of the she's an elf, like, she's got the same armor as most of the Warlord elves. So if you want to, like, you're running away. Bye, never mind. I was going to say, if you want to paint something like this, but maybe a slightly better sculpt, look at the Warlord elves. said, we're getting close. Hey, the reboot worked, guys. I can taunt the universe by saying that right now because we only have like 10 more minutes. So if it starts crashing now, we can deal. But yeah, I should get a notice from the computer because I put the order in over the weekend and they were closed. So I should get my notice of model of computer being prepared, yada yada, for shipping or shipping. Should get that soon. That's pretty awesome, Thormel. I love it. Yeah, I know. I know those old chainmail ones. I liked the female dwarf from chainmail, the old chainmail. Yeah, I think so too, Quindy. Right. Yeah, we had to reboot twice over the weekend, but it does seem to have a prayer of helping. So that also the new computer hopefully will help. And the nice thing is, like, there's actually my dog genetics program is on here, and it's not re-gettable because they've actually moved on to a different sort of program. So I can't actually upgrade it or anything, but it's on this computer. So I'm glad the computer isn't dying. I'm glad it's just a network card. I'm going to need to figure out a solution with a new genetics program eventually, because this computer will not last forever, but at least I can put that off a bit. There we go. A little bit of highlighting on the arm. All these highlights are making the armor plates stand out nicely. I am going to take some of this color and shade a little bit of these arrows, or these arrows, I guess, arrows. And I need to do lining between the shafts of the arrows too. The mini's fine, it's just an older sculpt, it's a little more cartoony. It's not as nice as Bobby's new stuff. I mean, this is an old Bobby. Compare it to the new Bobbies. Oh, a little bit of a borf. It's a little bit of lining there with the corporeal shadow. I need to go running off to Costco after I walk the puppy. I'm out of things. I've decided our Costco membership is worth it for very specific things. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that if I do get into martial arts, I'm getting into it at an older age, because I'm going to be a lot less reckless and less likely to actually do lasting damage to myself. Like the CrossFit, I'm very much a scaler. Like, I scale it so that I'm not doing a lot of crazy stuff to myself. I see those young guys throwing the weights around and I'm just like, nope. It's like I don't have to do that to build better strength, so I'm not going to. If I were younger, I might be tempted to, like, push it. more than I should. So I'm kind of glad that if I do get into this stuff, I'm getting into it, you know, older and wiser and more cognizant of the fact that I can break myself. And I really don't want to. My whole aim and goal in this is to be the most mobile, like physically high quality life I can have as I get older. It's like we had a substitute trainer because Allie and Andrew were in Hawaii this last week. Lucky dogs. I will be there in a month. And she was teasing me about my running, which I run with my feet very close to the ground. Like, I don't jump when I run. I bounce up a little bit, but very little. And she's like, "Are you sure you're not speed walking?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll tell you what it spares, my joints." So she can taunt me. She can tease me all she wants. I'm not going to start jumping, bouncing up and down running because it's just not going to do what I want it to do. I can still get my heart rate up to the 150s running the way that I do because I use those zero drop shoes. So that's all I care about. I'm only using it for like cardio fitness and intervals. I don't care about like getting medals for style. I just need to move. She's a young gal, the trainer. She normally does morning classes. I like her, but I'll tease her right back. Because she's like as far from me, as far as her hobbies and everything, as you can be. Yeah, right. Yeah, like the zero drop shoes, especially, like I don't have to lift up my feet very much at all to run. And so I don't hit with a lot of impact. And that's really... Because I actually enjoy jogging, and I will even more as I build endurance, but I just don't want to brutalize my joints. So I'll do it the way I do it. This is where my stubbornness and independence comes in handy, where I'm just going to do it my way and heck with what everybody else thinks. There we go, got the top of that. Zero drop shoes are, the most famous ones are probably the Vibrams. They're the ones that look like barefoot, like there's no sole, Pendrake. Zero drop essentially means that you've got no heel on it. There's just a thin sole. You can really feel the ground under your feet. And because it's got no cushion, it's very flexible. So essentially I can use my toes and the whole, like, my foot flexes when I run like it should. It definitely, you need to build up. Like when I first switched to it, I only did like 2 days a week because my feet would be sore afterwards because essentially I'm making them work. But now, like I can run, I've done like a few days in a row. And as long as I like do my foot circles and stretch out my feet, I'm fine. But yeah, so it's not for everybody. Some people really don't like them. Some people absolutely love them. I actually love mine. They're the most comfortable shoes I own. I like just wearing them around the house. Depending on his weight, like I wouldn't recommend them for very heavy people, Twistonoma. I don't remember how tall. I think your son is tall, really tall, isn't he? So like he might need something more like cushiony with orthotics because humans are not meant to stand all day, right? That's not what we're meant to do. We're built to walk and hunt and gather and walk all day. Yeah. Yeah, the toe box is pretty big. I love mine because mine are kind of cheap Vibram knockoffs, and they don't separate the toes, which I hate the toe separation thing that the Vibram does. But mine are just, I don't know, they're just really, really comfortable to hang. Like, I forget I'm even wearing them. Usually when I wear my trail runners, when I come back to the house, I can't wait to get out of those suckers, because I still use them here and there, usually for walking Kiki, because it gives me a little better, just impact and traction resistance, but to her pulling. But yeah, the zero drops are, and I use them for weightlifting. They actually are recommended for weightlifting because they let you really, they don't throw you off balance. Yeah, so probably not the zero drop shoes for him, Twisted Oma. Not for standing. But if he wants to walk or run, maybe. Because if they've got no cushion, especially if you're not used to them and you're standing all day, which is already like hard on your feet, yeah, I wouldn't think they're very good for that. They're really running shoes. Or I use them for hiking, for walking too, but I really like mine. Now my evening walk runs, I always wear them. At first they made me more tired because my foot was having to work more, but I've gotten used to them now. Yeah, and I wear them to CrossFit because the weightlifting, it's really useful. Because your feet are flat on the floor with them, and you can feel the ground, it actually helps with weightlifting for balance. It's usually if you're trying to do heavy weights, they recommend that you wear a flatter shoe. Especially if you have balance issues, which I kind of do at this stage of the game, so. But yeah, I like them. But yeah, humans are not meant to stand. I mean, that's what I was doing. They got my hips so screwed up, was standing all day in the paint department. Really wears on you over the years. Hi there, Kiki. Did you just drop your bone to announce to the world that Mama has to take you for your walk? Yes, is it walk time, Cerberus girl? Yes? Yes, Hunden? Yeah? Is it? Is it? You're so silly. You're so silly. Well, we've got highlights, pretty good highlights on a lot of the armor. We didn't do the quiver yet or any of that. But yeah, hi there. Hi there, Disrupted Dog. Definitely Disrupted Dog. Disrupted Dog, yeah. Does your dog come in and just like, wham, throw down a toy saying, hey, it's time. Hey, it's time. Hi. Hi there, sweetie. What's up? What's up? Your ears fell off. All right, my doglet requires walking, and we have gone to the 10-minute mark. We started a little later than that, but I think I'll call it here since we're at a good point, and the Keeks is being a silly girl. Usually a bone. Yep. Yeah, because we've got hardwood also. Yeah, it clatters. Yep. Because she has other stuff, but she brought her heaviest bone in to clatter. So yes, that's where we ended up. Tomorrow, we'll be back to green work. Oh man, I'm doing so much green work lately. Because we were just doing the griffin head. Remember? Kiki, back up. So we had gotten the griffin head on this side, and we need to remember that's where we started. Remember? So you can see the big difference. And this is what we'll be working on tomorrow, is working in that griffin head. And then, finally, we will be able to start painting everything gray and doing all sorts of stuff and things like that. Stuff and things. And I haven't decided if I'm going to have like a little fire, like signal fire type thing here. I probably should, but I don't know how much oomph I'm going to have, so we'll see. Yep, so green work tomorrow, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. We're in a new week. I'll update you on whether I'm going to sacrifice my Friday to medical crap or not. I have to check which days are busier with them and make my judgment call based on that. All right, folks, have a good one, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. Bye.